everybody. It's Dr. Bridget Young from babyformulaexpert.com here with my #1 sidekick, Petey. That's about it for the attention span. Baby Vaughn is with his daddy, so you may hear him in the background. Petey, where are we? We're visiting my husband's grandmother, so Petey's great-grandmother in New Mexico. So we're taking a break from visiting to talk to you guys about Aldi's brand formulas. My aunt's making funny faces. This was actually a question I got from a friend of mine named Nicole, who I met when I was living in New York going to grad school, and we haven't really kept in touch, and I haven't seen her in a long time. But Nicole, I want to say publicly, I'm so glad you asked, and she is literally like the sweetest thing you've ever met in the entire world. I could not be happier that you are procreating. I hope you have 5 to 7 babies to fill the world with your genes. You are so adorable and sweet. So she asked about Aldi's brand formula. So I'm in Colorado and I don't have Aldi's anymore. My whole family is from New York, and Aldi is a store there that sells their own brand that's usually discount. I love Aldi's because you can get really good deals there. So I hope this isn't disappointing, but I'm only going to give a rundown of 3 of their new formulas today, because the Aldi's that is closest to my mother is only carrying 3. They're brand new, and my mom is super adorbs and went to the store and took pictures of the list of ingredients for me. Petey's running around. Petey, you can come say hello again if you want to see your picture. So Aldi's, like I said, is a discount store, and they just released their own line of generic or Aldi's brand formula and baby food, and it's called Little Journeys. So that's the Aldi's brand. So they came out with 6 different formulas: an infant, advantage, gentle, sensitivity, soy, and toddler. And they do tell you what they're supposed to be the generic for. Before I talk about formulas, I do want to point out, for those of you who have Aldi's, they also release their own line of baby food pouches that are all organic, and they are 79 cents for a 4-ounce pouch. That is by far the cheapest I've ever seen for organic pouches, even using store brand that I usually buy in Colorado, because I'm all about generic brand. So if you are doing solids yet, then Aldi's a great place to go buy pouches. Now, the same rules of all the pouches apply, that they're usually pretty fruit forward. Check the order on the list of ingredients, but you can't go wrong with the price for organic. So high five, hats off to Aldi's for there. So that's awesome, and will save you a lot of money. Oh, that looks good, baby. So today I'm going to go over Aldi's sensitivity formula, which is supposed to be like Similac's sensitive, their soy formula, and their toddler formula, which they compare to both Enfamil and Similac. Their other 3 big infant formulas are quote-unquote infant, advantage, and gentle, and I just don't have the list of ingredients from there yet. My family's sending it to me. I also did call the customer service, and they're supposed to be sending them to me. So hopefully by next week I'll be able to go over those with you. Okay, so first, Little Journeys or Aldi brand sensitivity, which is the generic for Similac sensitive. Petey's playing with a toy. I think it's adorable. Hopefully you agree. The first thing, so the marketing is for fussiness and gas when baby is sensitive to lactose. Maybe I should do a whole other happy hour Q&A about lactose sensitivity. It's so rare that lactose is actually the problem. So, and why I say that is because if a formula is lactose free, they obviously, of course, have to come up with a different carbohydrate source, and usually that's corn syrup and sugar. And so I have to really weigh it in my head. When moms tell me their baby is lactose intolerant, I believe that something is wrong, but I do think you should try to work with your doctor a little bit more before just switching to a lactose-free formula, because usually it's a lot of sugar, and that is definitely the case with this sensitivity. So the first ingredient in the Aldi sensitivity is corn syrup, followed by milk protein, and it's just milk protein as opposed to on most formulas you see just non-fat milk, because non-fat milk contains some natural lactose. So it's just the milk protein, followed by one particular fat. Normally you see all the fats together. Hi, baby. I'm in here, yeah. And then you see sucrose, which is the scientific or chemical name for sugar. So that's just like straight up sugar. Like if you took a scoop of sugar and added it to your coffee, took a scoop of sugar and added it to this formula. And then the rest of the oils that make up the blend, then I'm in here. Yeah, you could come in with me if you want. Then galacto-oligosaccharides, which is a prebiotic. Love that. That's great to be able to get that in a generic. And then this formula also has DHA, ARA, which are the kind of sexy fatty acids, and lutein, because it's a generic of Similac. So to compare that to the Similac Sensitive, which is the name brand, I'll just cut to the chase and say the ingredients are exactly the same, except the Similac Sensitive also has lycopene. Lycopene is not a required nutrient. It is usually found in breast milk. It's great to have, but it doesn't make or break a decision for me. So I have two generally big thoughts about this Aldi brand formula. The first one is, if you are feeding Similac Sensitive name brand and you have Aldi, go ahead and switch. You'll be losing the lycopene, but you will be saving so much money because it is definitely cheaper. So that's my first thought. The second thought is, I don't like this formula very much because it is all of the carbohydrates come from corn syrup and sugar. And usually the only reason I tolerate corn syrup, in my opinion, the only reason I'm okay seeing corn syrup or sugar in a formula is if the protein source is partially hydrolyzed. And that's because partially hydrolyzed proteins have a little bit of a funk to them. It usually doesn't bother babies, but companies will usually add a little bit of corn syrup or sugar, usually corn syrup, to make the taste more similar to breast milk, which is sweeter. So, but in this case, the protein is totally intact. It's a full, large cow's milk protein. So, so it's lactose free with an intact protein, and I just don't think that combination is really necessary for so few babies. It shouldn't be a huge choice. However, if you are already feeding Similac Sensitive, it's probably not worth switching, but it might be worth switching, like switching formulas in general, but it would totally be worth switching to the Aldi's brand because you'll save so much money. Okay, next is the soy. I rarely talk about soy formula because I am not a fan of soy formula. Again, if you are feeding soy right now and your baby is thriving, then just close your ears, stick with what's working. If your baby's happy, I'm happy. But if you're choosing to start with, I'm not a huge fan of soy formulas. I'd really like you to try messing around with a couple different combinations of other types of formula before you go to soy. Hi, Coda. Okay, but there's soy compared to Enfamil Pro Sobi. The first ingredient for, now this is, Coda, sit please, sit. Thank you. For the Aldi's is corn syrup, followed by soy protein isolate. That's the protein source. Then you have all your oils together that make up the fat. And then DHA, ARA, lutein, because it is also trying to match the generic of Similac. And then fructo-oligosaccharides, which is a prebiotic. Which again, I love seeing prebiotics and probiotics in formula. They're very, when at the amount they add, they're very safe, and so it's really just a win-win. So if we compare that to the Pro Sobi, which is Enfamil soy, corn syrup solids first ingredients, then all of the oils, then soy protein isolate, and then DHA and ARA. So this is a super no-brainer. If you are feeding Enfamil Pro Sobi and you have an Aldi, the ingredients are the same, with the exception that you get more with the Aldi formula. You get fructo-oligosaccharides, which is a prebiotic, and you get lutein, which again, I would say wouldn't make or break. But if the price is cheaper and you're getting more, oh my God, this is like every mother's dream. It's like finding your favorite shoes on clearance. So if you are feeding Enfamil Pro Sobi and you have the option to switch to Aldi, hi baby, you can come sit with me if you want. That's a no-brainer. I would say go for it. You're going to save a lot of money. And then the last one I'm going to talk about, oh, kaboom, that's a pillow. Yeah, the last one I'm going to talk about very briefly is the toddler formula, because I am not a huge fan of toddler formulas at all. The Aldi brand, but to compare the ingredients, the Aldi brand toddler formula compared to Enfamil's toddler transitions is pretty much, the big things are all the same. The difference is that the Aldi brand has fructooligosaccharides, whereas the Enfamil brand has polydextrose, and those are two different types of prebiotics. So you're getting prebiotics with both. It's just a different type. They're both of those types are different from what's in breast milk, but are both very healthy. So like, I don't care one over the other, to be honest. With the Enfamil, you get ARA, but with the Aldi, which is a fatty acid, you get lutein. So they kind of shake out, but I don't really like either of them. I mean, if your doctor has prescribed a toddler formula and you have a toddler who's failing to gain weight or exhibiting some kind of growth faltering, maybe there's a place for it. But toddlers in general are able to drink cow's milk or nut milk if you prefer, and they're eating food. So they're getting lutein, for example, and all their other necessary nutrients from hopefully a relatively varied diet. And then if you can introduce cow's milk as well, that really covers the calorie basis. Your water's right here. And the reason I don't like toddler formula very much is because it's based on intact protein. Non-fat milk is the first ingredient in both Aldi's and Similac and Enfamil. And then all of them add corn syrup solids. So they're just literally adding sugar so that it tastes sweeter, so that your toddler wants more, so that you buy more. So again, if your pediatrician has suggested that calories are an issue and you're really concerned about getting calories into your child, maybe this is an option. But in general, cow's milk is a much better option because it doesn't have added sugar, in my opinion. So that is my breakdown of at least the sensitivity, soy, and toddler. And next week I will hopefully be able to bring you the comparison and my opinion on the 3 other infant formulas that they offer. So the summary is Little Journey's Aldi sensitivity compared to Similac sensitive. They really do stack up. So if you're feeding Similac sensitive, I would suggest trying to switch and saving yourself a lot of money. If you're just starting out formula and choosing one, I would not suggest choosing this formula because it's lactose free, meaning it's full of sugar and corn syrup, but it's an intact protein, meaning you're not even getting a hydrolyzed protein in exchange for a lot of non-breast milk sugars. And the soy, very similar. If you're at least comparing it to Pro-So-B Enfamil, which is Enfamil's soy, then the ingredients are exactly the same, with the exception that you get even more. You get lutein and you get fructooligosaccharides, which are a prebiotic. So you get more for your money. What? Yeah, that is the winner of the day. If you're feeding Similac or Enfamil soy and you have the option to switch to Aldi brand, go for it. And then the toddler formula, same thing. That I think they're very comparable. So if you have been prescribed toddler formula, I think Aldi's a great option for you. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go back to hanging out with my family. Petey's still down here. Angel. I'm going to go back to hanging out with my family, and next week hopefully I'll be able to bring you the breakdown of the other 3 formulas, which are probably going to be their most popular ones, which is why they're not in stock in my mom's local store. Okay, it's so nice to chat with you guys. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Do me a favor and click sign up on the Facebook banner, which will put you on my email list. And then I try to, if there's big announcements, like I did write finally a blog about Gerber's new changes. If there's big things that happen with formula like that, I'll send out an email just keeping you guys up to date with stuff that I think you'll want to know as parents. Okay, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.